Yes, good morning everyone. Let's start with our market commentary. So one thing is pretty much good. People are happy because of a good upsurge which we have seen in a couple of days. Now what we are seeing in front of us is again S&P 500, the weekly chart. Now what happened last week was a complete downfall which basically started from the levels which we were already focusing on, 2750. Right, so one thing was clear, S&P was becoming weak, and back of that a huge moribazu was formed and a downfall took place. Now the difference that we see after the fall is a gap up opening, and it is now trying to rise pretty much on the upside. Now if you look out from the outer view on the weekly chart, this was the first bottom which was formed. Obviously the spike went down. This was the second bottom which was formed. Now 2585, this bottom of moribazu will become very strong support, provided that we have green candles for next 2 weeks, right? And then you will see a continuous upsurge, and after 2750 it might also make a new all-time high. So S&P is also trying to be bullish, and that is where we see some kind of buying or reversal is happening on Nifty and Bank Nifty. Okay, now let's go out and see the weekly chart of Nifty as well. Now when I see on the weekly format of Nifty, as we were trying to understand prior as well, almost 10,600, 700 is the huge resistance, so that should always be kept in mind. And then the fall started, right? Now the base of the fall obviously was somewhere around these levels, and the second base was straight away towards 9,700. Okay, now why did 9,700 did not come? There is no answer to it. Okay, so the only point to understand over here, why did yesterday rally takes place, is basically because of the option writing. So 10,100, there was a huge OI built up, and people were thinking that no further market will go down and it will expire around these 9,800 levels, which did not happen, and it came all the way back and trying to go beyond 10,100. Now this is one of the good learning that we should understand. This was a good upsurge which took place. Second, the fall took place in the following month, and as I was telling you prior as well, the fall had already gone beyond the point where the rise had started from, right? So there was a clear indication that large amount of fall is being anticipated in the price, and then there can be a good reversal. Now we expected the reversal to happen in April, not yesterday itself, not prior to the expiry. And then when sometimes these kind of pullback rallies happen, it is not a constructive pullback. Try to understand, right? But one thing will be pretty much sure. Let us try to understand what exactly happened at the base, because that is where we will have the next round of understanding coming into place. Now when I go out and I see this particular base of 9980, right? So two things comes to my mind. In this entire journey from 10,400 to 10,000, there was a continuous sell which was taking place. And after a continuous sell which was taking place, a rise has started from the same bottom. So a kind of 10,000 or kind of 9980, good buying base has also been made after the falling base. So I can say a complete red candle followed by complete green candle. Obviously the green candle will be completed by today or tomorrow, and the week will expire around 10,200. Now what we understand over here, we need to go out and look at the OI transfer from the current month to the next month in the futures. If the OI transfer is there, okay, so let me explain you in the simplest way. Many people might not know what do you mean by OI and how to understand from this. So sometimes OI should be looked into, not all the time. So what I am saying over here, and it will make some sense, this is March expiry which is currently on, and let's say if there are 100k OI built up number which is there. Now if it is in March expiry, people were more short or more long, and answer is pretty much clear, all were short and not long. Why? Because price went down, and with the price going down, people would create new short position. right? So it was pretty much clear that good amount of shorts were built up in the system, and there is no confusion about that. Now let's go out and see what will happen at the end of March expiry. Now 3 days remaining, now 2 days remaining. If all the OI, so people who are standing with their short position, they get transferred in April month, that is basically called as rollover. So how will a person do rollover? He will basically buy in March and he will sell in April, right? So by doing this, if OI transfer is seen to be same, try to understand, that means, so I'm saying assuming in April month, the OI transfer is same, okay, of what OI was built in the month of March. So what will happen, March month, OI goes down, and in April month, minimum OI goes up this much, wherever. So let's say if OI has gone down by 10%, 20 or 50% in March, and is it being transferred in the month of April or not? So OI of April month goes up. If you see this happening, or I can say the rollover is taking place, highest rollover has taken place, it is pretty much clear that short people have rolled their position in the month of April and their position still remains short. So for April month, people are still short. Now how will these people make money? The people who are short, okay, will only make money if the markets go below around 10,000 or low. Okay, so 10,000 below will where they will start making money. Okay, now let's say if market does not go below 10,000, this is where I was saying the base has been formed. Okay, and if it does not go below this, there is a clear indication that all these guys who are sitting on short, sometime in the month of April itself, okay, a good upsurge will come. Why upsurge? Because the people who are short, the short people will go long and book loss, right? So this is the biggest takeaway that one should understand. If you have missed the rally of yesterday, obviously yesterday rallies are not supposed to be a conviction buy. Try to understand. It's like happy-go-lucky. You basically got lucky, you bought, and then the market just zoomed. But this is what will come with conviction. If rollover is happening in the month of April, so the agenda is clear. People standing in March are now again standing in April, but the position is short. Try to understand. If they are short, markets will not go down. And if markets go down, let's say based on any global news, if the market tomorrow starts going down to these levels of 10,000, it will find support. Why? Because if it comes to their level of short, what will they do? They will try to break even by buying over here, exiting their position. So can I say, if market comes back down to 10,000, it can form a second bottom and you can have a good upsurge towards 10,600 to 10,700. So this is called as OI understanding. Okay, so understanding OI at every expiry does not make sense. Okay, we need to understand when we should look at OI or what we should understand from OI. So I'm not getting much into it. Obviously, using my commentary, I've already done the OI analysis, and majority yesterday I saw a rollover happening from April month towards March month towards April month. So people who want to understand much about OI, all you need to just do is go to NSE India and take Nifty futures. Okay, so if we go out and just put out Nifty futures, and you will have the derivative segment. Okay, so here it is. So this is your Nifty future March expiry, and when I go out and see, there is something called as open interest, right? So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. So 1.6 crore of open interest is standing right now, and we need to see whether this number goes down by how much. And if this number goes down, we need to also go and see whether the number is increasing in the month of April. right? So this is how a simple analysis will help you to understand. So April month, when I go out and see, already it is 105. And if this keeps going up, and if you see percentage change in Y, right now it has gone up by 5%. Okay. And this is what I need to see. So April month has gone up by 5%. March has gone down. Okay. By roughly it is flat. So right now it has not gone down. So these 2 days or 3 days will help me to understand the shift of Y. So if majorly this OI goes down and the April OI goes up, that clearly shows people have shifted their position in the month of April, right? So this was one of the good understanding of OI. So people keep using OI all the time. I would say it is not one of the good beneficiary output, but when seeing OI now at a crucial juncture where large selling has taken place, a reversal is trying to take place in the making, this is where the OI analysis will become extremely important. Now, what do I understand from the weekly chart? The first is the base around 9980. Second is the top, which is 10,215 or so. And today's high was also around those range, right? So complete sell and complete buy might be possible. Even tomorrow, you can see Nifty going up towards this 10,215 mark. Now, agenda over here is half of this will be retraced. What do you mean by half of this? So 10,200 to 10,000. Okay, so if this is the range from the bottom to the high, in the next expiry when it starts, I am saying half of this, that means 10,100 or so, right? So what I am trying to understand, 10,100 can be the retracement move. Okay, and after that 10,100 or 10,050 or so, roughly around 50% it will retrace, and then it can find a straight upsurge towards 10,600. So my target for Nifty or basically the upsurge that I can see in Nifty is clearly towards 10,600 to 700 mark. And when that one side upsurge comes, all the people who are short, they will push the Nifty higher towards 11,100. Right? So we need to see first why gets transferred. People are still in short, and then you see this uptick happening, and then further up move is quite easily possible. Only after it sustains 10,600 above, there is a clear-cut chance in April month itself to make a new all-time high on Nifty. Right? So April can be a good move, and it will be very much contra to people who are expecting Nifty to go down, and suddenly everything will turn on the upside, right? So this is what we are trying to anticipate in the month of April, at least an upsurge towards this range of 10,600 to 10,700 after undergoing a small spike towards 10,100 or so, and then it will go on the upside. So one is that range, and second, it might come down and test the same bottom, forming double bottom, and then it can go on the upside. Now let's see what's happening in the month of April. Okay, two things are happening in the month of April. So when I go out and see, this is where the week will get over, and you will basically start from the next week. Okay, now when I start from the month of April, the first week, again now there is an RBI policy. Okay, so one event is of RBI policy, where if RBI remains with the status quo or does not increase any interest rate, banks will go one way up, right? So that will provide leg to the rally for Nifty. And second, then we basically start with a result season on 11th and 10th with IndusInd Bank, TCS and Infi, and then probably after 20, where the heavyweights of Nifty starts giving numbers. So expectation of good numbers and earnings uptick can also bring in a new euphoria to Nifty. So first uptick by Bank Nifty, second uptick by the heavyweights of Nifty, and the overall rally can come into place. Once by bank and second by non-banking sectors, right? So clear understanding of 10,600 to 700 is there on the cards, and if it surges up, OI transfer takes place, many people are short, you might find one more round of uptake towards this all-time high, right? So that is how we should understand this OI and the structure, what happened yesterday, right? So yesterday move, obviously it is not that easy to understand and take, but going forward, the month of April gives me much more conviction for 10,600 to 700 mark, right? So that's a clear-cut takeaway. Even if I go down and see the Bank Nifty on the weekly chart, the same agenda seems to percolate over there as well. Try to understand. This was the rally point which started and it zoomed up, correct? and then it comes down, does not sustain here, but further goes down. So I can say this was the biggest down move which happened in Bank Nifty, right? A big fall from 27,500 towards 24,000 or so is not a cakewalk, right? So this surge was high, I agree, and then it came back down. It should have settled somewhere over here from where the rally started, but it did not. It further went down, like in the case of Nifty, and that is where a good support line was already there around this 23,800 mark. And I was trying to say this before as well, it is entering the support zone. And now when we are clear of a good upsurge which took place yesterday, now let us understand a clear cut red candle on the downside, right, with no spikes, try to understand, and after that a clear cut buying coming from the same level, right? That is not always seen. It's not a random candle pattern where the buying comes, or I can say the low is equal to open and the continuous buying is coming into place towards this 24,500 mark, right? So it might sustain till here, this entire week. Again, the same phenomena what we are trying to talk in Nifty, half of this band, so 23,700 on the higher side, 24,500, take half of this candle, which will come around 24,000 or so, can retrace back, okay, but it will not go below this bottom phase. Try to understand. If it does not go below the bottom phase, it is pretty much clear, then there is a rally which is there in the offing, right? So once this move of 24,500 or 600 is taken out, straight away you will see rally in Bank Nifty towards 26,000. So there is no possibility as to such a big rise. Why will it come? As I said, RBI meeting, if they keep the interest rate same, banks will not get affected much, and then you have a huge uptick in Bank Nifty, right? So Bank Nifty will move way much faster compared to Nifty in the first week of April or so, or first to 15 days of April, and then after that Nifty will come into place. Why? Because the non-banking stocks will also start performing. So for Bank Nifty, I am pretty much clear. 24,000 now becomes a good bottom, okay, and 24,000 to this 23,700 will be a eagle's eye is what you need to keep, a hawk eye, whether this is breaching or not, and are we able to form any kind of reversal around these zones. And if we can tackle that even on intraday or hourly charts, I am saying still this was a clear possibility of 26,000. So we are seeing a 1,500 points up move from the bottom. I can say 2,000 points. So 24,000 to 26,000 is clearly visible for Bank Nifty, right? So that is a good uptick that can happen in the month of April, and because of the large selling, this is quite possible, right? So we are saying this because of three conditions. The large selling has taken place. The selling has gone beyond the level from where it started. So that is one good starting point why we are bullish. Second, because of the OI and the strong base formation at the same base. So here the red candle or the Moribazu, the low was equal to close, and this is open is equal to low. This is rare finding, and this is where the entire weekly pattern gets settled, right? So one red and one green. Let us see whether this level of 24,500 gets sustained. After this, it might come back down in a spike towards 24,000 in the next week of April, first week of April, and then it can shoot up, right? So this is what we take the clear-cut understanding from Nifty and Bank Nifty. Try to understand, this is the point where you should understand the OI transfer. Okay, now OI transfer is clearly important. Why? Because the upsurge has been seen, number one, and number two, a good amount of selling has taken place, right? And many people were bearish, and many people were saying that now it's a complete bear market and it is like 2008 crash and this and that. Try to understand, you should go to 2008 and understand how the crash comes, okay? And even let's say this is where I'm standing is 2008, and let's say the crash comes from here. It takes 6 to 8 months to go down 50%. And when it goes down, there are times when the bounce will keep coming up, right? So it will keep making lower highs and it will keep going down. So the crash also takes 6 to 8 months to exist or come into making. So this is not a crash. This is just a small correction, and a bouts of reversal will always come into place. Now, considering this bear market, can it be bullish or the bull market can resume? Yes, provided that 26,000 or the gap gets filled and then it goes on the higher side. Similarly, when I go on the Nifty, Nifty again the same thing. When can it be bullish? The clear understanding is there. 10,600 becomes a huge resistance, 600 to 700. If it can sustain above the 600, and it will reach towards 11,100 or so. So we are very much clear when we are being bullish or extreme bullish and when we are being bearish. So I'm not saying I'm not bearish. Yes, I was bearish, but now after seeing this, a base formation, a quick up move will take place. This is what we need to understand, right? And if quick up move will take place, I need to make some bull strategy or bull spread strategy around this range, right? So if we see, if I am assuming that Nifty will go to this range of 10,600 to 10,700 mark, let us take some options positions or try to make some bull spread. Okay, so when I go out and do bull spread, we'll have different findings for bull spread. Now try to understand our range of Nifty target. We are assuming that Nifty will go to 10,600 to 10,700 by 20th of April. Try to understand, right? Around 20th of April, my target for Nifty will become around 10,600 to 10,700, 20th or 22nd of April. And the second point, what you need to understand, if this is the target that we are looking at, okay, we need to look at the bull spread. You can now take K1 and K2. So K1, we can basically take 10,400, and then you have K2, which is 10,600. So this is one bull spread. Similarly, you can also consider some other bull spread with a different strike. So 10,400, we can go to 500, and 600, we can go to 700. So going out far will obviously be cheaper. So this bull spread, or I can say the BS1, and then there is BS2. There is a clear understanding that BS2 will be cheaper or less compared to BS1, right? So it depends which one you want to take, and the clear agenda is 3 times of profit or the stake is easily possible. So 3 times upside is possible, provided that this range is achieved. Now try to understand, because of the up move which happened in yesterday and today, these spreads have gone up significantly. So this spread, which was trading at 25 rupees on Friday closing, okay, so 25 was the spread of 400 and 600, has already gone to 75 or so, right? So it has already gone up 3 times because of the up move which happened yesterday and today itself. Now we need to understand, if we are targeting for this, and the 25 is a fair value of the spread. Okay, so 75 will again come back to 25, provided that Nifty undergoes a little correction. Okay, so we can keep a target looking into bull spread for this 400 to 600, and if Nifty corrects or comes back down by 100, 120, 150 points, you can also look at these kind of bull spreads, 500 and 700, right? So that can also be looked into. So that will become cheaper. Agenda is pretty much clear when to buy these bull spread. Nifty should go down, not very down, but at least some mild correction, and we can go for this bull spread. So bull spread can obviously be BS1 or BS2, depending on the risk appetite and the uptick that you see, right? But this is how we should structure our trade. And more prominently, forget about Nifty, because Nifty, the target is around 20th of April. We need to go and see Bank Nifty. As I was saying, Bank Nifty will be way more bullish and reaching towards 26,000. Why? Because we have RBI meet which is coming in, and you can obviously go out and look for Bank Nifty spreads as well. Okay, now let's take a range for Bank Nifty as well, the way we did for Nifty. Same thing we should assume first, where we are seeing Bank Nifty. Okay, so we are seeing Bank Nifty. So let's first put bull spread, and then we are saying Bank Nifty. The target for Bank Nifty according to us is somewhere around 26,000. Now Is it on 20th of April? Roughly around, I would say 15th of April, prior to what Nifty could achieve its target. Reason is pretty much clear, because of the RBI policy and no interest rate hike. Now, if people normally track 10-year bond yield of India, it has already gone down 7.35. It was somewhere around 7.5. So the interest rates have started going down. So that is one good, you can say, in going into RBI meeting, if the yields are going down, that is one good sign for Bank Nifty, right? So that also provides a good support. Fine. Now, when I go out and see this, again, the same bull spread can be created. Now, again, we will have different range of strike prices for these bull spread, K1 and K2. Let's say if I take K1 exactly around this 26,000. So forget now 25,500 if you take the bull spread and you take 26,000. This is 500 points upside is possible only at the time of expiry. But this is the kind of bull spread that can be created. Apart from this, try to understand, we can make another kind of bull spread. So this is BS1. It might be a little costly. We can go to our BS2 as well. So this is your BS1. And now let's go and see what is BS2. So this is your BS2. And BS2, we can go out and see 26,000 going little above 26,000 and 26,500. Right? So this is how one can understand. So these are not recommendation. It is what we are trying to put academics into use. How practical these spreads can be and how much risk reward is easily achievable. Now the question is, today itself, should I go and make these spreads? Not at all, right? Because of the good rally which has taken place from 24,000 to 24,500. Obviously, these rates have also gone high, and then you have a long weekend, so the theta will also come into play. So wait for some pullback on the downside. As we say, Bank Nifty might come towards 24,000 or so, maybe in the first 2 days of the next new series. And once it comes there, you can look at these kind of bull spread. Right? So this is uniquely important to understand why we are looking for bull spread and what are the targets and when are the targets can be achieved. Try to understand. When you're taking these option strategies, the most important thing that you should know, when will it happen, right? Approximate dates. You cannot say, I think 10,600 will come in the month of after May or maybe June or July if the rains come good and the elections are good and this and that. No. If you see a target of this and with the date, then only you can win in options, right? So our Nifty target roughly around 20th, I can say, or I can put 22nd of April, third week of April. These targets are quite possible. And when I go for Bank Nifty, it is a clear indication 15th itself is possible. Okay, why it is possible? Because as I said, RBI meeting, no interest rate hike, bonds yield going lower, and then you have banks performing on the upper side. And the first result of IndusInd Bank will also be out around 11th or 10th of this month. So all said and done, Bank Nifty will obviously provide now some good support and leg to Nifty, which was missing. So even if you see yesterday rally, first in the morning time, Nifty was down, Bank Nifty was up, right? That clearly showed there was some strength for Nifty to go up. But this is how things would pan out according to me. And I have more conviction with this because I have given you some kind of reasoning. And now the second part of reasoning, I have also given you some kind of targets, what we can keep in mind. And now to achieve this, can we play using bull spread or not, right? So all three said and done is being explained by today in this commentary. So I hope this will be quite useful. Going into the expiry, obviously looking at individual stocks does not matter, because large amount of corrected stocks have now seen going some kind of upsurge. So example, if you see today's gainer and loser, it will be a clear indication what's happening. Even yesterday, Yes Bank was the top gainer. Okay, SBI, Yes Bank and all those stocks which were losing for quite a bit. What I see here, Indiabulls Housing, which was never seen in the highest gainer, and today it is over here. The IOC, HP, BP, all were going low, making new lows, and now we are seeing IOC and HP are coming back in the same. Again, ICICI Bank, which was making continuous lows, Tata Steel was making lows, so all the commodity pack. So the agenda is pretty much clear. All the stocks which were continuous loser are now becoming gainers, right, to provide support on Nifty. So there is no Reliance, there is no ITC, there is no HDFC. Try to understand. So this rally is just a kind of short covering. It is not a full-blown rally which we are supposed to take into our stride. Second, when I go out and see the loser segment, I see still GAIL going down after 2-3 uprise, continuously 2 days loser. Apart from that, we also have Hero Moto and Bajaj Auto. So the auto segments which were always doing good, the back of the numbers are now down. Try to understand April again, the numbers will come and these autos will now become from loser to gainer. Again, HDFC is tad bit lower. So lower, obviously not many stocks, but we are not seeing a good uptick rally from all the stocks, right? So these are the stocks which were beaten down a lot, and that is where a good upsurge took place in Nifty, right? So that's what we have a good takeaway now for this particular week. Obviously, tomorrow is expiry, same range bound sessions. Two important mark for us to understand is 24,000 for Bank Nifty, okay, and the base which is 23,600. So this is the range I will look at, 23,600 to 24,000. When I go in Nifty again, I see a base of 10,000 to 1100 kind of range, where I will keep an eye on for reversals and keep my target towards 600 to 700. The gap down where the fall had started and the rise can come back to this zone. Similarly for Bank Nifty, the fall started around this 26,000 zone and it came back down, and the same rise can come towards these 26,000 or so, right? So that is what will be the takeaway for this expiry. I hope you enjoy your long weekend, and then we come back in April and try to put our brains together to get some good outputs from the markets. Thank you very much and see you tomorrow.